Hey, thanks for joining me. This is one of my favorite times of the year, particularly here at Moss Mountain Farm. It's so much fun and there's so many creative ways to celebrate the season. For instance, take these wacky pumpkin trees. In today's show, we're going to talk about a lot of fun things that I think you're going to enjoy. One of them is that pumpkin house you can see behind me. We're also going to take a look at, well, how you can grow some vegetables. You don't have to have a huge vegetable garden, just some vegetable containers. I call them edible containers. Some beautiful things that you can grow, look great on the plate and also taste delicious. We'll also take a look at some decorating in the house that I've done. And we used lots of things from around the farm and a lot of things that we can reuse. And then I love pies. I want to share with you 4 of my favorite pies. You're going to love them. Creating this pumpkin house has become somewhat of a tradition here at Moss Mountain Farm. We do it every year, and it's always fun to see how it comes together. And it's not always that easy to get these pumpkins to, well, behave. We basically wedge them together. They're held by these loops and so forth, or I should say metal hoops that are in the shape of these banded loops, and the pumpkins can rest upon them. And then we tie them in with wire and that kind of thing. But the little house is about 10 feet by 12 feet, and the roof is covered with moss and burlap and all kinds of twigs and sticks to give it a very atmospheric sort of look. And you can see the range of pumpkins on it. There are about 27 different varieties of pumpkins on here. A lot of people ask us if we grow all of the pumpkins here at the farm. We don't. Some of them we do. Certainly the green gourds that you'll see in here like this, we grow here at the farm, but most of them come from a neighbor in the adjoining county who does, I think, a very good job growing such a wide variety of pumpkins. They also ask, what do we do with the pumpkins at the end of the season? Well, a lot of the ones that are particularly delicious, for instance, like you might find a butternut or some acorn squash and that sort of thing, and some of the little small New England pie pumpkins. Those are really great in like chili, pumpkin chili, certainly pumpkin pies, pumpkin bread, and so forth. And then the others, what we do is we lay down a big mat, we put straw, these bales of straw that you see, and we pile all the pumpkins up, cover them to keep them from freezing. And then throughout the winter, we feed them to the livestock and poultry. So it gives them a wonderful little treat during the colder months. And what's interesting about pumpkin is that I was always taught that there was something in pumpkin that was a natural wormer. So it's really good for the livestock when they eat it, and as well as the poultry. Now, what we've done here is we've actually put a couple of boxes out here. Every year I sort of change it up a little bit, but it's usually the same theme, and people love to come visit the farm and have their photograph made with their friends in front of the pumpkin house. And in years past, I've grown vines up over it, and this year I got a little bit of a late start, so that they didn't grow as long as I wanted them to, but this is hyacinth bean vine, and it's a plant that we've been growing here at the farm for a long time. It's an annual bean, and it's really truly gorgeous, and these flower seed pods are gorgeous in arrangements. What we did this year for the first time is we made these giant hoops going from one post to the other, traversing the 12-foot wide walkway through the vegetable garden here at Moss Mountain Farm. So they really turned out spectacularly. If you've never grown hyacinth bean vine, you can just get a sense of the flowers. These are just about gone, but you can see they flowered heavily because of all these pods. But it's really worth seeing the way they express themselves in these big arches that go over the walkway in the vegetable garden. Now, while the vegetable garden is one of the shining stars this time of year, if you look at the farm in its totality and you move along and you see the vistas of the river, it really is quite spectacular, because Jack Frost is already beginning to paint the leaves a myriad of colors. It's frankly one of my favorite times of the year to be up here. And then you look and you can see the various gardens around the house and beyond, the ponds, vegetable garden, rose garden, etc. This year, some of the most surprising trees for color have been the crepe myrtles that we have in the terrace garden, as well as some of the maples we have coming along the driveway. I think decorating in the fall is probably the easiest of all the seasons, don't you think? So take, for instance, Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday, because you don't get caught up in all the gift giving and so forth, and it's really focused on family, fellowship, friends, and food. And so decorating the farm is really about the bounty that we produce here. So here in the entry hall at Moss Mountain Farm, what I've done is I've taken the sideboard of this piece of furniture here that sets up against the wall and made a cornucopia. And it is a cornucopia of a lot of things that I grew and a lot of the things that I went out and bought, and I made it as simple as possible. So let me just break this down a little bit for you. So the centerpiece, of course, is this tom turkey. Everything in this house has a story. This was given to me by a friend, and I bring him out every year for, of course, Thanksgiving. November, as I say, is always Heritage Turkey Month. And if you know me, you know we have beautiful, old-fashioned, heirloom, heritage, whatever you want to call it, old breeds of poultry. And this is a heritage bronze tom. Now, what we did here is we put down a piece of plastic first, which protects the table. And then I just do a layer of this moss, and you can see just a little bit right here of some of that plastic under it. And I just take the moss and I tuck it in there like that. And that makes a bed. And then from there, it's really just a matter of placing the bird. And then we've got these hotel silver bowls on either side, where I just set one of these pumpkins, one of these flatter types on either side. So then it's framed, and it's then just a matter of working in all of these different autumnal elements in the way of pumpkins, and I just try to bring in and brighten up areas with some of the orange ones and some of the light ones like this. And once all these things are in place, and you can see there's a wide range here, a lot of pumpkins, but also some of the pears that we've grown here. There are apples worked in, a pomegranate or two. I didn't use any of my little dwarf pomegranates because they're still hanging on the tree and they look great. Some of the gourds that we grew here, we always grow those long handle dipper gourds, acorn squash, onions, garlic, a wide range of things. So the method in my madness is that while this is a beautiful display, it's also edible, and you don't have to throw anything away. So all of these things can be either worked into pies or food in some way. The pomegranate seed, well, those are delicious on salad. Of course, the butternut squash are great baked. I have a wonderful recipe for that. And then all of these pumpkins we will either use in cooking or we will feed to the animals. And I've also integrated a lot of dried things that come from the farm in the way of hydrangeas, the blooms of alliums back here. And then to finish it off, what I've done is gone out in the woods and gathered up some of this wild grapevine you can see here. We actually have muscadines growing on the arbor. If you've been here to the farm, you know that we have on the west end a very long arbor that you walk under, and it's covered with these muscadine vines. And so bringing those in this time of year really gives this a wonderful wild sort of feel. So the beauty of it is that it does represent bounty, but all of it is going to get put to use. We don't throw anything away. All right, coming up next, why don't we take a look at those pies? You won't believe how delicious they are. They're all made from, well, just a few basic ingredients. Smells so good. Oh, it's hot. All right, that's the last one I want to share with you today. Who doesn't like pie? And during the holiday season, I think pies are right up at the top when it comes to desserts. And that's what we have here. And what I like to use as much as I can from the farm. And as you know, we have quite a collection of heritage chickens. We have over 40 breeds of heritage poultry here. And you can see the eggs, and what's common in all of these pies, these 4 pies I want to talk about, buttermilk and eggs in each one of them. The brown eggs here are laid by breeds like Plymouth Rocks and Wyandottes, or white eggs by white-faced black Spanish or blue Andalusians. And we even have green egg layers in the way of the Americanas. Now, what I have here is a series of pies made with, like I said, eggs and buttermilk, served with whipped cream. I've got sweet potato pie, which I absolutely adore. I have 2 chess pies. This is a lemon buttermilk chess and a chocolate buttermilk chess. And the one that really gets a lot of attention around here is this one, which is a buttermilk pecan pie, which is one of the favorites here at the farm. So if you come to the farm in any season, you're likely to have a piece of this pie and enjoy it with me here. And I love this kitchen, by the way, and we always deck it out for the holidays. And we bring in, again, things from around the farm. We have gourds and pumpkins and bundles of wheat and so forth, and really try to celebrate the season. But I want you to have the recipe to all of these pies because they're very good, and it's always hard for me to choose the one I like the most. It seems to be the one that I have on a plate and ready to eat. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that all of these pie recipes are on our website, palensmith.com. And coming up next, I'm going to show you how to make this traditional Moss Mountain buttermilk pecan pie. Just because it's fall doesn't mean it's a season without bloom or certainly color. We know that. Just look at these containers that I've planted, and I'm just really pointing out some obvious things that you can grow beauty in the containers. You can add things that are edible like rosemary here, along with these violas and pansies. And then back here you have this wonderful acorus grass. And this acorus grass, this is one called Ogon. And I like it for its textural contrast to the pansies. It withstands cold, and it has a gorgeous sort of chartreuse color to it. And one of the things I really like to do is cluster containers like this and mix it up a little bit. There's so many things going on in the fall. If we really just stop and pay attention to it and soak it in, you really begin to learn that there is so much beauty around us. Another one of the great bloomers that I'm enjoying this time of year that love the cold are these super cows. They're a cross between a petunia and a calabricola, hence the name Super Cal. I just think they're really fantastic. You're always looking for things that have a tolerance for, well, cooler temperatures. When those nighttime temperatures drop even below freezing, these have done so well. So I promised you some examples of how you can grow vegetables in a limited space, and you just take a look at this large terracotta container. I found some vegetable plants at a local garden center that needed a home, and in here I've got some red leaf lettuce, also a little bit of romaine lettuce. There's some arugula plants in here. I love this deer tongue lettuce, this little plant of freeze, so this will make a delicious salad along with the buds and flowers of these violas. In the other one over there, I've got some bok choy, little arugula, and some more of the lettuce. And so these two containers will really surprise you how much they'll actually produce. I've grown all kinds of things in containers. Just a moment ago, we saw the rosemary spilling out of those containers with the pansies. Other things that can take cool weather would be thyme, and also parsley is great for fall gardening. So when you're thinking about edibles, just think about stepping outside your back door and gathering a salad or a few herbs that you can cook with. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our time together today as we've taken a little closer look at some of the beauties of fall, as well as some of those great tasting recipes. I hope you'll try those pies. Man, they are so good. If you like what you've seen here, please like the show. And if you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, go to palensmith.com and subscribe there. And do please subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, until next time, happy gardening.